All right, so this is our first look at Illustrator, and I'm going to create a new file. And when I do, I go to print, I do letter, which changes this to 612 by 792 point. Point is the default. I want to just show you what happens if I went to inches. This would be 8.5 by 11, so that's what we want. So I'm going to go back to points. And I'm going to create. So I've done print, letter, create. Okay. And here it is. And I wanted to show you something here. If I do control and do minus, 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 this whole space, this gray space is my workspace. So if I wanted to, I could put things here and then drag them into my artboard, my letter size paper. But for today, I'm going to do control and then plus, plus, plus to go there. And so what I'm going to be doing is learning some new tools and drawing some hamburger and fries. That's what I'm going to do. You can pretend if it's a veggie burger if you're a vegetarian here. So the first thing I'm going to do is come over here. And do you see where there's a square here? And then here's an ellipse. I'm going to take the ellipse and I'm going to draw kind of an elliptical shape. So I'm kind of looking for a bun shape here. So there it is. And if I look over here, look here in my toolbox, the fill is white and the stroke around it is black. So I'm going to go here to the fill and wait, I'm going to just kind of get rid of some things I had here before. I'm going to go up here to window and then I'm going to go all the way down to swatches so that I can, wait, I don't know what I'm doing here. Here to swatches so that because I'm going to need a lot of different colors for this one. So I'm going to pick a brown, maybe this color, nope, maybe more like that color for my bun. Okay. So there's my bun. Now I want to show you a couple things. If I come over here to my select button, these are points right here, right? There's a point there, there's a point there, there's a point there, there's a point there. And I'm going to get real close here so you can see it. As I come along here, this is a path, and so I could make new points on there. So everything in Illustrator is made out of points and paths, okay? So one of the things I want to do maybe is make this a little bit more rounded. So I'm going to do it like that, okay? So I'm going to go take over here to my toolbox and I'm going to look for my eraser tool. It has kind of a white square, another square. If you ever have problems finding something, go down to these three dots at the end of the toolbar and you can look for it here. I often, I forget what my tools are. And so I will sometimes go into just Google and say, what does an eraser tool look like? Or what does something look like? But anyway, so right now I'm going to go and get my eraser tool. Here it is. And here's my eraser tool. Okay. So hold on a second. Okay. So that's my eraser tool. Right now it's super big. I don't know if yours is big or small. If I want to make it smaller, I can take the two brackets that are on either side of that are on the side of the P on the keyboard, and I can make it smaller. I'm going to make it smaller now. And what I want to do is split my bun. So I could do it two ways. I could just freelance it here. Okay. I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to make it evener. So I'm going to do Control Z to get rid of that. And I actually still want to make mine a little bit smaller. Okay. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to hold down the Shift button and then I'm going to start clicking. And if I hold down the Shift button, it will be straight. Okay. So there I got it. Okay. So I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to deselect this and put this up. Okay. And so now I have room for my burger and everything. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have my square. Okay. And I'm going to make a burger. Okay. But I want that burger to be darker brown. Okay. And I want the rounded edges. Nothing looks like that in real. So I'm going to click on these rounds and then I'm going to make it like that. Okay. So you can play around with that a little bit. But now I have my burger. I'm going to come back up here to my select and kind of push it over a little bit. And then what I want is I want the burger to be on top of it. So I'm going to click on my bottom burger, go up to Object, go to Arrange, and I'm going to send my burger forward. Okay, so there's my burger. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make some cheese, okay? And so the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to come over here. Do you see next to the rectangle, there's like a little arrow? That means there's other things. So I'm going to come down here to the star tool, okay? And so I'm going to hold it down and I'm going to stay with it held down. So I still have my finger on my mouse. I still have it done like this. And so one of the things that I'm going to do now is I am going to take the arrows on my keyboard and I'm doing the down arrow until it turns into a triangle. So you could see that with each of those arrows, I add a point in my star. So I'm doing the star down until I have a triangle. Okay. So now I have a triangle. Does not look like cheese, does it? So I'm going to come over here to my swatches and I'm going to make my cheese kind of no, I don't want it like that. I want to make it like that. Okay. So there's my cheese. Okay. I'm just going to do, okay. Oh, I did not want to do that. Sorry. So I've got my cheese here. I'm going to kind of select over here. I'm going to move my cheese. And what I want to do is I want to transform it. So remember my cursor, when I go outside one of the points, turns into a double arrow. So I can kind of push it around like that. Okay. And so now what I want to do is make it bigger and flatter. And I want to now kind of make it like that. I'm going to try and make it more like cheese. So you can see that I'm struggling a little bit, but I'm going to kind of do it like that. Okay. All right, so there's my cheese. So I want to duplicate it. So the way I'm going to duplicate it is I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to press my Alt key, and I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to move it over. So that duplicated it. So I'm going to put that kind of over here. And I don't want these cheeses to look exactly the same. So for this one, I'm going to make it a little higher. And so that's kind of my cheese. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is do lettuce. And I could, by the way, I should probably clean this up a little bit. So I'm going to take my eraser tool and I'm going to not have cheese just hanging out here for no reason. Okay. So I don't have to, because I'm going to have lettuce on top of this, so I don't have to super clean it up. Okay. So now I'm going to go to my shapes and I need a square. So remember I turned this into a star. So now I'm going to go back up to my rectangle tool. Okay. So I have a rectangle and now I'm going to make a green rectangle. Okay. And I'm going to come over here, make that a dark green on my swatch. I'm going to make it rounded so it looks a little bit more natural. Okay, so there you go. So that does not look like lettuce at all. So I'm going to use a tool called Wrinkle. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to come down to the toolbox to those three dots. And I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to come down to the section that says Modify. So I'm going to come down here to the section that says modify, and I'm going to look for, it looks like a little bit of a crown, like a misshapen crown, and I'm going to click on it. Okay. Okay. And now I am going to make this a little bit smaller, this thing, and I'm going to go over this lettuce. Okay. And now I'm going to go over it again. And I'm going to go over it again. Okay. So I just made it a little bit selection-y. Okay. So that's my lettuce. Looks a little odd, but there you go. And now I'm going to make some tomatoes. So I have my rectangle tool, and I'm going to make a couple of tomatoes. Okay. Remember, I'm going to change that to something rounded. And then I'm going to make that red. Right. Make that red. Okay. And then I'm going to come back over here, select it. You know what? I think it needs to be a little thicker. And then I'm going to press on Alt, press on this, and then move another tomato over. Okay. Oh, you know what? I didn't do that for some reason. So there's my tomato, and here's my tomato. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, and I can kind of fiddle with this and say, oh, I think my tomato would be a little bit thicker. And now I'm going to put this on top. But I think what I need to do is put this, you know what, before I do that, I think I need to fill in this space with lettuce. So I'm going to put another little bit of lettuce here. I'm going to put my lettuce there, and I'm going to come into here, go to my modify, find my wrinkle tool, and then I'm going to, okay. And there I go. Okay. So I've got that lettuce. I'm going to put the 2 tomatoes. I'm going to do control. So I have, actually, I'm going to do this one. I'm going to put this, I'm going to do object, arrange, and send it backwards. I'm going to put the tomato and object and arrange and bring it forwards. I'm going to take my lettuce. I'm just kind of fiddling around with it right now. And I'm going to do my outline outside. And I'm going to say I want no outline. So I'm going to do no outline here too. And now I'm going to take my bun on the top. And I'm going to put my bun, arrange, bring forward. And I'm going to keep bringing it forward, arrange, bring to the front. Okay, so that's my hamburger. Okay, so my hamburger looks a little weird right now because it has a round bottom. So how would it sit on a table? So I'm going to go back up to my eraser, make my eraser real big by doing the brackets. And I'm going to hold down the shift button, and then I'm going to erase that. So there's my hamburger. Okay. So I want to see my whole workspace. One of the things is once I have my hamburger the way I want it, I'm going to select it all, and then I'm going to do object group. Okay. So there is my hamburger. Now it's all just one thing that I can move around. Okay. So I'm going to do control minus so I can see my whole thing. I'm going to move my hamburger down here. Okay. Now I'm going to do my fries. Okay, so to do my fries, I'm going to do a rectangle shape. Okay, okay, sorry for that glitch. I have my fry box here, and I just wanted to show you something. Right now it's brown, so the first thing we need to do is make it red. Wait, hold on a second. I need to not make the outside red, but make the inside red. Okay. So I can kind of, I'm trying to make it like the McDonald's box. So I guess that's it. Okay. And so what I'd like to do is bring in the edges. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I'm here on this direct selection tool. And I haven't selected the fry box. I just have it. And as I get closer to the box at the bottom, I can pick up these anchor points and move them in slightly. Okay. So remember, it's kind of that shape. Okay. So then I've clicked it. So I've kind of brought that in. I can bring in the points. It doesn't work if I go like this. If I do it this way, it just moves it. But if I don't have it selected, then I come to the direct selection and come near it, an anchor point will be revealed and I can change that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop out this box so that it has that rounded McDonald's look. So I'm going to come back to my eraser and I'm going to sort of be careful about this. If I screw up, I can always redo it. Okay, well, that was definitely not good. So I'm going to do Control Z, and then I'm going to try again. Also not good. So I'm going to do this. Okay. So that is my fry box. Okay. That's my fry box. Such as it is. There it is. I need to kind of clean up some things. Okay, so now I need to put fries in it. So I'm going to make rectangle shapes. And honestly, this doesn't matter. I can put these anywhere because in the end, I'm going to put them behind. So I'm going to make a fry shape like this. I'm going to make it slightly rounded just so it's a little bit natural, but not a lot. And then I'm going to make sure that I'm here on this red, and then I'm going to kind of on my fill, and I'm going to come here and see if I did. Now, if I want to see how I do that, I can also double click on the fill and kind of try out different colors to see which looks most like fries to me. So let's say that's my color. Then I say, okay. And then what I want to do is I want to make sure right now, weirdly, I have the outside is this red fill. So I'm going to make the outside of it kind of a little bit darker color. So let's see if I like that. So it's kind of a darker, crispy edge there. Okay, so those are my fries. So I'm going to click on this, then I'm going to press Alt and then move another one over, then Alt and move another one over, and Alt and another one over, and an Alt and another one over, and an Alt and another one over, and an Alt and another one over. So those are all my fries that I'm going to be making. Okay, so I'm going to kind of put one fry up high, another fry down below, another fry here. So I'm going to just kind of put my fries in. And, I could make a couple of them misshapen if I wanted to. Need to make one more fry. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is kind of, I don't want always some of them I'm going to arrange and send them backward. Some I'm going to, so I'm going to send this one, object, arrange, send to back. Okay. So I have all my fries like this. And so what I'm going to do now is arrange all of my fries, but I'm going to click Shift. So these are my, wait, hold on a second. Temporarily, I'm going to move this over. Okay. And one thing I'm going to do is clean this up a little bit. So I'm going to clean these up so that they're going to fit into here. Okay. Actually, I don't know why that didn't clean up. Okay. I don't know what's happening there, but I'm going to put this on top. And I'm going to put the fry box on top, object, arrange, bring to front. I'm going to move it down a little bit so these are poking out. That's looking great, except for this one area. So I'm going to take that one and I'm going to move it in. Okay, so there it is. So there's my French fries. And so I'm going to group these two. I'm going to do a bounding box over everything, do object and group. Okay, so now when I move it, I can put it here. I'm going to put it behind. And right now, this is not as big as it should be to match that burger. So I'm going to put that behind. And then I'm going to do object, arrange, and then I'm going to send it back. Okay. And so this is my fries, my burger. Now let's say I want to do a background. I'm going to do a rectangle shape. And I'm going to do that whole area. I'm going to put here, I'm going to say that I want no background. And then for the fill, I'm going to make it a pretty blue. And I'm going to take that into the back. Okay. So this is what I've got here, French fries and a hamburger. And if this was an ad, I would still have room here for type and for some copy here. Okay. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to save this and I'm going to save it into a desktop folder. And I'm going to do all of my new Illustrator stuff in an Illustrator folder. Okay. And then I'm going to make my file name, my last name, my first name, and initial, and I'm going to say burger. So this is Adobe Illustrator that I'm going to save this as. And now I need to turn it into a JPEG to turn in. So I'm going to do File, and I'm going to do Export, and I'm going to export as. I'm going to, out of all of these, choose JPEG, Wilkerson K. Burger, Export, and then that is what I'm going to submit on Canvas.